Having worked with dogs for decades now, not only through the US government, but also on a personal level there, when you look at that video, what does that make you feel?
Uh, the video makes me feel disgusted, both as a human being and as an animal lover and as a pet owner and a business owner.
Okay.
However, as an owner of a canine company, I can tell you that I would consider that animal cruelty and abuse. Of course, there's missing context. You don't know what happened before, but even then, right, looking at what was going on in the video, the dog was in a prong collar and a choke lead. Um, the choke lead wasn't in the right spot. It was too low on the dog's neck. It was under the what we call the waddle, the fat roll underneath the dog, when it should be at the base of the dog's neck, right behind the ears. Um, and the prong collar was extremely low on the dog's neck. Both collars were actively engaged, and they were yoking a dog, which is pulling a dog on either side. Usually, this is done to immobilize the dog for safety purposes, but there was no reason in that, from what I saw, to actually have the dog yoked in the manner that it was and being choked out in the way that it was. Um, the the agitation stick that they were using to correct the dog, I mean, they were using a crop, but those are designed to create noise and distraction in dogs during, like, training for police dogs for bite work, in order to make sure they're not going to be distracted by loud snaps and bangs and crashes. They're committing to their work. At no time should a dog ever be struck with a tool in any way, shape, or form. If someone in the military did that type of stuff, they would be sent away. They'd be demoted. They'd get removed from the canine program. They would probably face UCMJ or disciplinary action.
And this comes from a man, you, who has been training dogs for how long now?
Oh Lord. I was in the military for about 15 years. I was a kennel master in the Army, which means I ran the part of the Army's canine program. I After that, I was the Afghanistan Country Canine Program Manager for the United States Army for all Afghanistan battles, the area I was in. I've had multiple canine companies. Um, I'm renowned for my working dogs and service dogs internationally. Subject matter expert for House of Representatives and congressional representatives. Recognized by the White House for the work that I've done, everything from service dogs to working dogs and training. Yeah, I've been doing this better part of 20 years now.
And for the Cane Corso breed, have you worked with them?
Oh yes, oh yes. Can Corso. I mean, I've worked with for years, but working a dog, the fundamentals of dog training is doesn't change, regardless of the breed. People try to blame temperament on a specific breed, but it's kind of like saying, it's like trying to judge a breed of a dog the same way people would judge someone's race. You just can't do it. The fundamentals of learning are generally the same. There are certain barriers depending on that specific animal, but it has more to do with that animal,
Mm-hmm.
not the breed of the animal, let alone on the head. So it was very hard to watch because you couldn't understand what was going on or even an intent. I've seen lots of bad dog training, and you can at least understand the intent of what they're trying to accomplish. There, you couldn't understand what was going on. There, it was a lack of education, a lack of responsible training whatsoever.
If she's training local law enforcement dogs, could that be a troubling sign?
Most definitely. I've spoken about this in great length before about law enforcement canine programs. Law enforcement canine programs, they do their best, but they go to local resources for a lot of their training, and usually it's handshake agreements. They will engage sport dog trainers who can train, like I said, can train a task. I mean, I can train anyone to write a paper. That doesn't make them a journalist.
Hypothetical: if someone were to train a dog to be a law enforcement deputy, because that's what they
Mhm.
are.
Yeah.
And you find out later on down the line that the dog was abused by the trainer. Does that in any way um, have any kind of change, or does that reflect on the dog's ability or the dog's involvement in a crime, if you will, when they apprehend a suspect?
Most definitely. I just got done doing a review not too long ago for Vacaville PD and an incident that happened with one of their dogs. Abused animals are becoming a huge liability, not just for the subject that they're apprehending, but for the officer that's handling the dog as well as the officer around them. Those dogs are dependent upon for their safety and their reliability. And now, no dog's ever perfect, but as an officer, you don't usually know anything about dog training. You don't know the history of the dogs. And you are putting your life on the line and trusting your safety to that dog. If a dog is abused, um, in this case with a whip or a leash or something like that, in a very heightened aroused situation or highly stimulated situation that the dog is in, it could easily turn around and bite a bystander, an innocent individual. It could bite a subject when it wasn't supposed to. It could bite another officer trying to simply put the suspect in handcuffs. Um, or it could, like the dog in the video did, completely shut down and choose not to engage. If it's a dog searching for explosives and a dog shuts down because of fear or anxiety or because it was abused, then that dog is potentially going to miss an explosive and someone's going to get seriously injured or killed.